Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Flash. I'm back again with another quick video. Today we're just going to talk about what I've done and what's currently going on now. As you can see, it has a little bit has to do with a little bit of foam and just a little bit more bench work. All my videos have been on bench work, but I'm pretty much finishing that up now. Just going to give you a quick little update on what that's been. With that being said, let's jump right on into it. So as you can see, I got some foam laid down. That's drying up and curing. This one here is already laid down. As you see, I can't even lift that up. I set that down a couple days ago. I just put that first one down just to see how it would, pretty much how it would happen, or what would happen with it after it cured if it did start to kind of come up a little bit. Because if you know, a lot of times when you put certain stuff down, certain glues, they like to expand. Like a lot of the Gorilla Glues, they like to expand. So if you lay it down and you don't weigh it down, put some weights on it. Like you see over here, I got some extra scrap pieces of wood laying down on top of it. If you don't weigh it down, it'll start to expand and it'll push it up. Like this one here, you can see it's not all the way down. It's not even glued down yet. As you can see, I'm moving it around. But just giving you an example, if you don't glue it down or if you don't weigh it down, it'll start to come up a little bit, and it'll put the glue will push the foam up, and it won't be flat anymore, as you can kind of see there. So I'm going to be a little bit mindful about that, because you will start to run into problems not having straight flat track. Yeah, but I'm using this liquid nails here for projects. It's an interior. It's pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it. It dries relatively quick. Haven't had any issues with it. It does not expand. You get a pretty strong bond. I'm not gluing them down crazy heavy, because maybe one day I want to decide to redesign the layout or whatnot. I want to be able to pick that up. Or not pick it up, I want to be able to remove it with relatively a decent ease, and without ripping it up and causing a mess. So if you put a lot of it down, it's going to be stuck there forever. I'll just put enough down to keep all the edges down and to give it a nice little bond. Not nothing crazy though. The thickness of the foam is a 1/2 inch. As you can see, about a 1/2 inch there. I already took my my tape measure and I've kind of measured it. I don't have just a standalone ruler here. Just took my little tape measure, measured it. It's a 1/2 inch thick. As far as the bench work goes, I get you a nice little shot here. So remember, in my first few videos, it was a bunch of plywood around and a bunch of extra scraps. These scraps here, remember those? I got some there, and I got some weighing this side down too. What I'm pretty much doing is, like I said, because this isn't the traditional layout bench work. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm getting my plywood, making sure it's all the same height with the legs. These are 2 feet 5 inches long. Make sure you got all that the same height, which is, I mean, it's simple. It sounds crazy to say it, but I mean, it's pretty important. You get, mismeasurements, and you got tables that are out of whack, and you don't really want to deal with that. So 2 feet 5 inches in my case for each of the legs. Okay. And what is it? 1/2 inch thick. I'm sorry, no. 3/4 inch thick plywood. No, I'm sorry. It's a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch thick plywood. And pretty much what I'm doing is the scraps that were left over when I got the plywood cut. At first, I was just going to toss them because I didn't think, okay, what am I going to do with these scraps? I was thinking, I don't know how I was going to build up the second, the climb, and how I was going to have a second level. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I don't know what I was going to use for it, but it hit me. I could use the scraps for that, and I could also use it for this purpose here. So as you can see, I got screws going across, pretty much 1 foot in, 2 feet in, and the other end, which is 3 feet, because this is 3 feet wide now. Oh, let me touch on that real quick. So my last video, looking at the bench work from the back of the room, the bench work went all the way to the back of the room, all the way to the back. These two sheets here, this one here and this one here, they were both 4 feet wide. So from here, where I'm at now, all the way to the wall, it was 4 feet wide. And it didn't really bother me that much. I knew it was going to be hard reaching in from where I'm standing at now all the way in to the far corner. I mean, I'm pretty much as far as I can reach now. And had it been all the way to the back, it would have been nearly impossible for me to get back there to do anything, laying tracks, soldering, gluing anything down, a derailment, you know, anything. It would have been impossible for me to get into those back corners. And so pretty much what I did is I took these two sheets back to Home Depot, had them cut them up, and now I have me a little space for me to come up and do stuff on the back half of the layout. And when I do the climb and the second level, I can't really tell you pretty much where to be, but pretty much right in here. Right in here, I can't get the camera far back enough, but pretty much probably right in here. It's not gonna be too high. It's not gonna be down here, obviously, but it'll probably be right in here somewhere. Hopefully you're able to see that. But that's probably where the second level will be. And if this was 4 feet wide, coming all the way out where it is now to the wall, it would be impossible for me to reach back here. I'm just now like, this is how far I can reach in. So that second level, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, I can't even reach the blinds. And that's pretty much what the second level would be at. So it made sense to do it that way, to get it cut up and have a little bit of space back there. Although I do lose a little bit of real estate as far as laying a little bit more track, having just a tad bit more scenery. Oh well. That's kind of what that second level was for anyways. I probably have most of the industries on the second level. This would be the yard. As you got the diesel house there. The yard would start over in this area, work its way down, work its way down, work its way down, and it would start to end up or closing off right in here. And it would come over here into a little town and go back around to the yard and eventually go up to the climb to the second level where you saw my hand was a second ago. So that's that. But getting back to how I have the bench work. So what I did is, with the extra scraps that I had left out, I just took the scraps and I just pre-drilled some holes where you see the screws are. I pre-drilled the holes, and with the clamps, I think they're in my box over here. I just took some clamps, some C clamps, and I held it here on this side, and I had some other C clamps on the other side on the far end of the layout. I held the wood up, just separate one. I just held them together and just drilled right through it. And pretty much what that does for me is, since I don't have the frame, the traditional frame of a traditional layout and bench work, it allows me to have a solid joint between these two pieces of plywood. As you see, it's smooth across here. I put that Bear Marquee paint and primer down again on these two to seal it. And with this additional scrap, I think it's 1 feet wide by 3 feet long, a 1x3. It gives me a solid joint here. You may be wondering, okay, there's a gap there, but there's no gap on that one. Let me see when it's open. And there's no gap on that one. There's a slight one, but it's not a biggie. I'm not worried about it. It's still smooth right across. It's still smooth. And I'm gonna be laying foam over the top of it anyways. So you will never know it's there. The only way the reason you would know is because you would see the front and you would see the meat connected via that 1x3 there. So that's that. What else? The foam that I'm using, like I said, it's a 1/2 inch thick. It's made by R-Tech, R-Tech. You can see the R is cut off there. I think you see the R on this one. Let me see. Yeah, R-Tech. So R-Tech. Once again, I got it from the Home Depot. You pretty much get everything and anything you need to start a layout, other than the trains, obviously. Pretty much everything you need, you can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, your big box retailers for home improvement. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, what I got going on. I remember telling you guys I was going to do a review slash unboxing, so to say, of the NCE Power Cab. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to wait on that. Sorry if you guys are looking forward to that. I am going to do it. It just won't be right now. What I'm pretty much thinking is I don't want to do this review, pull everything out of the box, show you the manual, and not be able to power it on, let you see what it does, run a little bit of trains with it. I felt like I should wait until I had something going on where I could at least get a train moving with it, so you can see what it looks like with the LED screen, LED, LCD, whatever. It's a lit screen. And just trying to play with it a little bit so you can see it, you can feel it. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and shoot them over before I even do the review. Ask the questions, and I'll try to get it in that video. Or even after I do the video, ask the questions, I'll respond to them. Or I'll do a separate video, like a Q&A kind of thing. But I am going to wait to do that. And I'll do that, let me see, pretty much once I get all the foam laid, I'll get the track down. I got a couple locos in the box. I'll pull them out, get the diesel house set up, and get it set up so I could kind of run it a little bit. But that's pretty much it. I got them all. They're all connected now. As you see, they're not moving, and I'm trying to shake it. It's not moving at all. And if they are moving, they're all moving together as one. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but yeah. Oh, one thing I will suggest, if you're gonna do what I'm doing, you see all those screws hanging out from the bottom? Okay, these are 2-inch. I think it's Sparks or Spax, something like that. That's the brand. Get 1.5-inch screws or 1-inch screws. These are 2-inch screws. I bought these when I very first got the top plywood. I didn't know what I was going to really be doing with them. I thought I was going to be going through my legs with these 2-inch screws, which I probably would have needed to get through this, because that's a good inch, if not 1.25 inches or so. Yeah, 1.25 inches. Yeah, so I would have definitely needed the 2-inch screws that these are here to go through these legs. But since I didn't, because I didn't know I was going to be using the L brackets that had screws that came with it, I was going to use, like I said, my 2-inch screws, but they came with their own screws. They're little tiny screws, but they do the job. I mean, like I said, with it being sturdy, with the support, be it as 1x3 here, the legs don't have that much stress on them anymore as far as keeping the layout stable. Everything's stabilized. Bodies 1x3s connecting each and every single piece of the layout together. I mean, you're obviously thinking now, okay, what about this center one? I haven't gotten that far with it yet. I'm probably going to use one of these extra scraps, or I'm going to get another one cut up for me and have it kind of span across. I was going to do a lift up, lift out, some sort of thing. I'm going to do probably a completely removable section of, I don't want to say bench work, but either a completely removable section or some sort of configuration where I can, like, from this end or from that end, like, swing it out and it'll come towards this closet, and I could, like, come in from this door and walk right in and then turn around and then pull the layout or pull this inside piece in and have the lock in over here, vice versa. However I decide, I don't really know, but it will be a full go around the room layout. It won't be our track comes here and it does a little loop-de-loop and come back around. No, not at all. Not happening. It's gonna go all the way around. I just haven't gotten to the part here in the center, but that is something that does need to get some attention. So pretty much for this video, that is it. Touched on the bench work. This should be the last one. Oh, before I forget, because I'm going to show you this. These screws here are 1.5-inch screws. So as you can see if that focuses. There we go. Wait. There we go. This is a 1-inch or 1.5-inch screw. So you got your 1-inch here. You got your 1/2 inch hanging out, which is not bad because I am going to be crawling under here to get back there in the back to pop up and stand up right there in the back. Oh, autofocus. All right, there we go. To stand up in the back so that I could reach inwards. So I'll be back here and I'm going to be reaching inwards to do stuff. Like I'm standing here, reaching in, vice versa. From that end, reaching inward. So you see the difference there? Those are the 1.5-inch screws. Focusing. There we go. And those there are 2-inch screws. Matter of fact, I'll do it like that. You see how far those are hanging out? 2-inch screws. 1.5-inch screws. So that's pretty much that. Can't tell if you can see the glare of the kind of the primed and sealed wood here. I painted these earlier today. Since the wood is fresh, one thing you should probably know if you're doing anything, if you're doing any woodworking, is that fresh wood and old wood, if you put any sort of liquid on there and it has not ever been primed, it's gonna suck it up completely because it's fresh and it's old and it needs moisture, or it wants to just suck all that up. So like I said, it takes about 2 hours to completely dry, about a week or two to cure. The curing period doesn't really affect what I do because the curing period is really just if you're painting on your walls and you want a certain sheen, you got a semi-gloss or a satin and in that curing period, your colors, they flatten out, they smoothen out, and you get a more defined color. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect what we're doing here on the layout. Like she's dry to the touch, and it's pretty much curing now. So I might get those glued down today. I mean, as you can see, I got some gaps in the middle where it needs to be filled in. I may have to get an extra sheet. What is that? 2 feet by 4? Yeah, 2 by 4. So I need to probably get another 2 or 3 of the 2 by 4 sheets of this Artec insulation foam. You don't have to, by the way, you don't have to use the Artec foam. A lot of people use the pink foam, which is about 1 inch thick. You can get 2-inch thick foam. You can get 3-inch foam. You can even get 4-inch foam on special order if that's the way you want to go. That's a little extreme for what we do, kinda. But I mean, if you're doing what I'm doing with my kind of bench work, you could probably do a 2 to 3-inch, maybe even 4-inch, if you want to be real safe. And at that point, you're gonna be spending like $30, $40, because what is it? This here 1/2 inch 2 by 4 is it's about $4. So for an entire sheet, because they're not going to sell you a little 2 by 4 section of 4-inch foam, they're going to make you buy a whole 4 by 8 feet sheet of it, and those in the 1/2 inch of that same size is $7. So multiply that, let's say $13 for a 1 inch, and then a 1.5 is probably around 16, and 2 inches is right around 17, 18, and so on and so forth. So you're going to be looking at about $30 if you decide to go that route with 3-4 inch thick foam. It's good for if you're doing scenery. You can create some good valleys. You can get yourself a good bridge. Like I could do a bridge in the middle with some 4-inch thick foam here on both sides and have a bridge going across or something, have a little waterway. That's actually pretty nice if you do that. Just know that it can be pretty costly, and in this hobby, the price and the amount of that coin that you're gonna spend is gonna rack up pretty quick. So keep everything in mind about what you're doing. If you're good at math, you like to budget out. I know I like to budget out what I'm gonna do. Budget out screws like to the bare minimum. Even if you add in stuff that you don't even use, at least you kind of have an idea of what you're going to be spending, because once you start doing this and your excitement starts to go, you're not going to want to stop. Like, I haven't been wanting to stop since I got everything started. Like I said, this is the dream right here, something that I've been wanting for years. As hard as it is for us to keep our excitement and our enthusiasm under wraps and contained, it does get to us a little bit, and we can go overboard. So before you get into this whole game and getting rolling stock, getting locomotives, buying track, buying switches, buying turnouts, buying signals, buying block detectors, buying structures, probably be best to budget out everything that you think you're gonna do. And it'd probably be better to over budget by a couple hundred, because then let's say you budget out at $1,000 just to get the bench work, the foam, a decent amount of rolling stock, a couple locomotives, some switches, some tracks, some cork, some foam. I think I said that twice. And the pretty much what you're gonna need to get started. Let's say you budget that at 1,000. It shouldn't be 1,000, but let's say you budget that at 1,000. A couple locomotives, that could easily be 1,000. Okay. So you add it to make it 1,200, and you only end up spending $950. That means since you've already budgeted your 1,100, your 1,200, your 1,300, you got an extra couple hundred to play with. You can buy a couple more cars, rolling stock. Maybe an extra engine if you wanted to do that. It may be a little bit more timid and more. What's the word I'm looking for? It may be a little bit more frustrating to think that you're going to spend that much and what it's gonna cost you to get into it. But if you over budget, not overspend, but if you over budget, you know what you're getting yourself into. If you end up spending less, then great. That means you got money to play with, or stick that back in your savings and wait for something. Wait for a deal from Train World or from Athearn, from MTH, whatever you decide to do. But you get the general point and the purpose of me saying that. So that's pretty much it. Foam, we talked about that. We talked about laying it down. We talked about the extra scraps. We talked about how I have it all connected, the size screws that you want to get. I mean, these are fine, but just if you ever get under your layout and you start doing stuff, by all means, just please be careful, because it hasn't happened yet, but I get the feeling that it probably will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find some nipples, like electrical nipples, because I was in the Home Depot the other day and they don't have like anything specific. You just like kind of screw like plastic that you could just screw over them to kind of cover them. They didn't really have anything like that. I remember seeing something in electrical. It's like a nipple and you kind of screw it over the ends of wires to keep them from being exposed. I might do something like that, especially for this center one, since that's where I'll be going in and out the most. But I don't know yet. That's half the reason why I bought these 1.5-inch, 1.5-inch screws, is to keep it a little bit safer under there, because all it takes for you to scratch your head up there one time, scratch it on your back, rip a couple t-shirts, and you go from having a good day and running trains to a bad day because you got to go patch yourself up. So that's pretty much it for this video. I say that a lot. This is pretty much it. But this is pretty much it for this video. You guys be safe. Take it easy. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday to anybody that's out there. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and shoot them to me. We can talk about it. We can go through it. Throw out some ideas. Trust me, man, it does not hurt for me personally to hear what other people think. Keep your comments respectful. We're all adults here. This is, like they say, where is it? I don't have a locomotive out. Maybe I do. Like they say, ages 14 and up. Doesn't say it on that one, but they say it on pretty much everything nowadays. There you go. 14 years and up. Let's be adults about everything. And let's be safe. You guys take it easy. Be safe. I'll catch up with you in the next one. I'm out. Deuces. One more thing I forgot. Hopefully, I'm trying out some new editing for videos. So hopefully I can kind of join these two together. But I have some still shots that I took off my camera when I first painted on that paint and primer on this wood, and you can, I think you can see how it looks a little white and how shiny it is with the light coming off the window. As you can see, it's completely clear. You see the grain of the wood under it. You can see everything that's under it, even the sticker from the Home Depot. You clearly see wood. I did with my marker. I don't know what happened there, but I did the little X there, as you see. I did that. But like, yeah, you can clearly see the grain of the wood, you know, under the paint. It's not 100% smooth, which I didn't want it. I didn't expect it to be. I didn't care if it did. But it made it a little bit more smoother to the touch. Like, I even do the edges here with the primer, that paint primer, to kind of seal them up, because it makes it less coarse. It makes it less sharp too. I remember when I very first bought this wood, I put it on my car. I ended up cutting my finger. Let me see if that'll focus. Hold on. There we go. Cutting myself right under my fingernail. Don't ask me how, because I have no idea how I did it. I put it on the top of my car, and I went to go shove it, and all of a sudden, I was bleeding under my fingernail. But as you see here, I'm running my finger along the top. It's smooth. I'm good. You see, nothing. Running my finger along the top. If you prime it, you get the edges. You can do this all around. Like, as you see, I'm going to be bumping up against it and whatnot like that. I'm not nervous about that anymore. You know, getting cut, ripping up some pants, you know. God forbid I ever have children, they run in here, they probably get hurt by messing around under the layout, but as far as rubbing up against this top part, they're not going to be fazed by that. Okay, so I meant to add that in my last video. Hopefully I can get it joined up, and I'll get these still shots added in at the end of the video. Once again, that's it for this one. I'll catch up with you in the next one. I'm out. Deuces.